The procession rolling through York County tonight, honoring 3 police officers shot and killed while serving a warrant earlier today in North Codorus Township. 2 other officers are injured. The suspect is dead. The investigation is still an active one, but the shooting happened about 10 hours ago on Har Road, and we're still waiting to learn more details about exactly what went wrong in that shootout. Thanks for being here with us at 11 o'clock. I'm Joel D. Smith. We're live outside the York County Coroner's Office, where those 3 heroes will arrive in a procession any moment now. If it happens, we will definitely let you experience that with so many people that are here as well to experience that. We'll give you a quick look around. These people came out in the mist. They've been here for more than an hour and a half, thinking this is the reason to be here because it's such an important night to show their support. We have team coverage of everything going on. CBS 21's Grace Ruffalo talking to a neighbor who is near the action of that shootout. A harrowing afternoon for her. And also Yasmin Cowan talking to some more people experiencing this, seeing various parts of this tragedy that happened today. And TJ Anthony in studio with some more of the angles as we're covering this as best we can for you on this tragic day in York County. And as I look behind me for a second here, it looks like it may be beginning as this is a procession that started about 40 minutes ago. And at this point, we'll be coming back to this location where these 3 officers, these 3 heroes, are taken to the York County Coroner's Office right here off Mount Zion Road. As you can see, the salutes are here. We saw the ambulances come through, and now so many in law enforcement from various departments all across our area showing their respect as part of this as well. Let's talk more about this. One of the deadliest days in law enforcement history here in Pennsylvania. 3 officers are dead, 2 more in critical but stable condition tonight in the hospital. And this is what we heard earlier today when they were describing what happened in this shootout. The governor talking about it as well. There were a lot of heroes that day, and we want to talk more about what really happened in detail. So for that, we're bringing in Mike Regan. He was a former state senator. This was part of his coverage area. You represented these people. And of course, you do have a history with the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force, so you understand these situations as well. When you listen to what we heard, the details of that day, and unfortunately hearing that it was a friendly fire situation, what's your first takeaway?
First of all, it's the sum of all fears for any police officer, any police department for something like this to happen. I can't say enough about their bravery.
The bravery is obviously unmatched, but we want to get into some of these details. As a layman, when I hear that they had both sides of this corridor right outside the ICU on both walls covered, and the person's coming through the middle, it almost seems inevitable that some of the shots are going to go across and then put some of the other people in danger. Is that how it sounds to you, who knows a little bit more about this?
Well, look, I think at first blush, maybe yes, but I think that, we weren't there. We didn't see what happened, and the way it was described can be different than the way it really was.
This here is where Officer Duarte would come to work. This is 2022. Tonight is where so many people came to pay their respects. One person in particular came with a heavier heart than most. He's a fellow officer from the area, not because he knew Officer Duarte, but he wondered if he should have been there at the hospital today too.
Unfortunately, he didn't make it home today, but it could have been any of us. And I'll kick myself for the rest of my life. I got off at 3:30 this morning, and why wasn't it me? Why couldn't I have been the one to not come home? He should have made it home. And I think every officer in the surrounding area is going to be thinking that, why wasn't it me? Why was it him? But all we can say is thank you.
York City officer Todd Platts Jr. brought his entire family out to honor Officer Duarte's memory, even though he never met him.
And I'm sure a lot of the individuals out here tonight didn't know him personally, right. But it doesn't matter. He was out there fighting for what was right, and they came to support him.
We're like a family here. We're small, we're strong, but we have heart.
Dozens came out here tonight to show that heart with their candles, with their presence, and with their prayers.
Where God says, just because you believe, do you think you won't be tested? Is this not the greatest test?
As we learn to live in this world that no longer contains Andrew, we ask for your promise of peace and your love for his family and friends as they walk through this path.
Officer Duarte's time with this police department was about 2.5 years, but his impact could be forever. It's a legacy and a possibility many officers and their families think about every day.
You know, these little ones, they can't be more proud to wave goodbye as I go to work, and I know, I might not come home, but it's that's Derek's dream right now, is he wants to be a police officer next, and of course I'm scared to death of that because I know I need him to come home, but what are you going to do? We got to make our community better and make our state better and make our country better, so we're trying.
In West York, Joel D. Smith, CBS 21 News. For the No Kings protest here in Lancaster, I'm talking to people. What are their real goals? Yes, they want to all be together and show they're upset, but they really hope from here it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. They need momentum, they say, to actually make change in America, and they think this is just the start.
This is a great way to coalesce so that we realize we all have something in common and that we're very upset about what's going on.
Anyone know what democracy looks like?
Democracy can also look at results, and this group knows the most recent election went against them.
My concern is, and my fear is, that our Democratic leaders are not standing up. You hear all the Republicans speaking every day, but where are our Democrats?
We found one in the crowd who says he sees this political period in our history right now starting to look familiar.
The actions that we're seeing from the Department of Homeland Security, from ICE, means that we are at exactly as critical a moment as we were in the 1960s during the Civil Rights Movement, and whatever is going on, it has to come to an end.
The organizers say they don't need violence to get to that end, and even though some of the signs are very aggressive, most of the messaging is not.
Love, not hate, makes America great.
It's speaking up, it's letting the world know that we're Americans, we love our country, we don't approve of what's being done.
2026, 2028, it's too long from now. So you've definitely got to persist and not give up.
In Lancaster City, Joel D. Smith, CBS 21 News. Yep, it went right.
Boy.
How in the...
Grok is the X version of artificial intelligence, and it now has a new feature called Imagine, where you can bring your still pictures to life. But not a life you actually lived. Look, this is, it has us fighting and kind of laughing and then falling to the ground. We didn't do any of that. It can be charming. My mother passed away a few years ago. This is us now dancing at my wedding. You can choose fun mode, and suddenly my pickleball partner and I are, whoa! And you can also enter your own prompts. Intimate prompts. I could say, make them kiss. And it would show you and I kissing.
Well,
That can get a lot of people in trouble.
Don't worry, these are artificially generated people. Just coworkers at the water cooler, suddenly on a virtual kiss cam. But the same could be done with any two real people. That's right, State Senator Scott Martin. Any two people, even us. There's another thing you can do that's called spicy mode.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, it went right.
Boy.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's legal what they're doing, because I think that's illegal what they're doing.
But the problem is you have to catch the viral villain.
I think that's a losing battle. Tracking and tracing where it came from is something we should do, but that's not going to solve the problem.
Professor Raeed Ghani specializes in machine learning and public policy at Carnegie Mellon. Surely he'll have an answer for this scenario. Let's say someone from your class maybe didn't like the grade you gave him, who knows what it is, creates imagery of you, intimate with a student.
These things are not, it's not going to be evidence. You can't assume, you can't put somebody on administrative leave while you figure this out. Because again, in the old days, you could sort of assume that if it's there, it's probably real. There's a chance it's not, but there's a good chance it's real. Now it's almost the opposite.
And he says the technology to hide where the image came from is still much better than any way to detect it. And there's the flip side. If something is real, now you can easily say it's not. That's not me. I can recreate that in a second, honey. That wasn't me. The lines are not just blurred, they're gone. The Consumer Federation of America is calling on all states' attorneys general to investigate Grok's Imagine platform and wants swift action to protect against any non-consensual intimate imagery.
And I'll be honest, somebody should be responsible.
But so far, Grok won't kill the kiss. Here's Grok's answer. XAI's policy explicitly prohibits users from depicting likenesses of persons in a pornographic manner. However, the policy does not specifically mention less explicit but still intimate scenarios, like kissing, leaving a gray area that has been exploited.
These tools are smart enough to know what you're trying to do. And at a minimum, they could give a warning saying, hey, it looks like you're trying to do this. It might not be legal.
It's actually an offense to create that in Pennsylvania and distribute it or forward it. It's actually a crime in PA.
But as you heard, running down who created that image can be very difficult, and the tech will just keep getting faster from here. So when it comes to creativity in 2025, the sky's the limit. But it also means that many will still have their mind in the gutter. Joel D. Smith, CBS 21 News. Can you feel that inside, guys? I listened to our other meteorologist working with us today, Ed Russo, about how wind chill really works. Barely any wind right here. I'm kind of in this corridor. If I stepped out here, I might fall, and I might feel it a little bit more, but it's not too bad right here. Here's the deal. It's about 20 degrees, I guess is what's going on. But the wind actually changes the way you feel. Of course, it doesn't change the actual temperature, but it's the way you feel. And here's the problem. You know, you have heat on your body. We know that. We're around 97, 98 degrees. And the wind pulls the heat away from your body, so you start to feel it more. That's why it's so impressive that you have layers and really bundle up, because the heat wants to stay in your body, but then the wind pulls it away. So just 20-mile-an-hour winds will make a 20-degree day feel like 4 when you counter in what it's actually like to your body. Yeah, these dress pants, not a good decision. All right, so here's how we're going to show this to you. This has no layers. It is a football jersey that we got wet 20 minutes ago, and now it is stiff as a board, defying gravity as we speak. So it didn't take long to freeze, and think about this as what you're wearing if you just have one little tiny layer on. Not smart. Laying down in the ice, also not smart. But we'll bring this back in a little later on and see how it goes, guys. But it's cold out here. Wear layers. Stay inside if you can. That is wind chill. Back to you.